Today's unpopular opinion on Reddit is: I don't feel sorry for young mothers with multiple kids by multiple different guys. It may sound mean, but there are many women my age, early 20s, who already have 2 or 3 children and often have multiple men that have fathered their children. They then post all over Facebook about how awful the guy is, how dare he not do exactly what they want, how that they are better off without them. But they got themselves into this situation by sleeping with guys without protection after a few weeks of dating. And complaining about how money is tight, can people do and give them free things because it's so rough being a single mum of 3? If you spent time to get to know the guy, graduated high school and got a career, then you may not be in this situation. I refuse to feel pity for women who make the same mistake multiple times and then look for handouts. Obviously there are some situations where it's not her fault, rape, death of the dad, etc. is 100% not what I'm talking about. Just the women who go around sleeping with multiple men, getting pregnant within weeks, months of meeting and then complaining how hard life is. Yeah, the victims in that situation are the kids, who have to grow up without any responsible adults serving as parents, rather than 2 responsible adults, not the idiot who keeps bringing them into the world without being prepared to raise them. Agreed. Especially since the kids will probably grow up with the mentality that what their parents are doing is okay. It's a vicious cycle. Including prison. A lot of kids who grew up without a father end up in prison. Note, this means we should strengthen the community to support those families, provide strong mother and father figures and role models, and fix the welfare trap by switching from welfare programs that incentivize single motherhood families and switch to UB, which doesn't have the disincentive to work like welfare does. This doesn't mean abolish the police, release prisoners, and stop enforcing the law. I saw a post by an acquaintance on Instagram about the myth of the nuclear family and how it is harmful to push that fatherless homes, or homes without 2 parents, is detrimental to a child's development. That single parents are ideal and a child has the best chance of developing with a community to raise it, not by having a father, mother, 2 parents around. Like all the evidence is bullshit. SMH. I can't deal with this ridiculous propaganda anymore. Ask them to provide evidence for their position because it flies in the face of any and all evidence supporting the opposite conclusion, of which there is plenty. Edit, I will say that I support the notion of having a community to raise it, which I think is something I advocated for, however to say that it's better than a nuclear family is nothing but hogwash. I mean, kids do better with a strong community, that's true. But a big part of that community is having 2 parents. A kid without a dad can do just as well if he has close relationships with other strong men like grandpas, uncles, cousins, family friends. But having a 2-parent household is still ideal. The thing with the communities that these people talk about is that they usually consist of multiple single moms, their many children, and the trash men that they're currently dating. That isn't a healthy community that produces productive children. Hi, oldest of 3 kids from 3 different fathers here. Drugs killed our mother, cancer killed our grandparents and the youngest's father. The youngest lives with my wife and I now. I can confirm that the damage is done to the children. Thankfully I learned early that the cycle of single parenthood and welfare is a trap. I am endeavoring to drag my family out of it one day at a time. Generational wealth is a privilege that comes with lots of advantages. But I think origins of poverty and origins of wealth both have their pitfalls. Poverty, victim mentality. Wealth, entitlement. Both will cripple the future of the kids affected by them. I could list all of the disadvantages I have and garner the internet's sympathies. But why? I can't change where I started, but I choose to believe that I can make my life what I want it to be. It's working so far. The problem is that the money isn't going to the right places: education, housing, free meals for kids. Why is the money given directly to a parent when it should be given directly to projects in the state and county level? That actually is a great point. Why do we subsidize the irresponsible behavior of people who have proven time after time to be incompetent? Funding the institutions directly isn't perfect, but it's got to be more efficient. In imagining a world where child benefits depended on school attendance, and transportation or compensation for it is guaranteed, I think literacy and graduation rates would skyrocket. I think what irresponsible parents and their unfortunate kids really need is the same thing: babysitters. The state needs to step in all the way or stay out of the American family's life completely. Half measures aren't doing it. A bloke I know has 8 children with different mums. But does he get any comments about being irresponsible? No, because it's the woman's fault. 8 kids, he sees none of them and rarely pays anything towards them. He won't wear a condom because, apparently, they aren't big enough. Yeah, right. Single moms are still very, very stigmatized. It's always assumed they ran the guy off, or are preventing him from seeing the kids when he just took off. When he does stick around, he's always given heaps of praise over doing the basic. "Are you made your daughter a sandwich and combed her hair? What an amazing dad." Meanwhile the mom is told, "Just a sandwich. Where are the veggies? Why not any carrot sticks with it, or French braid that hair, keep it out of her face." What a slacker of a mom. While I don't really feel pity for them, this is more of a cultural issue in my opinion. Many of these people grew up in similar lifestyles and simply never learned how to make their life better. Yes, and the same goes for men who have multiple baby mamas. It's sad. Look, whether you have a penis or a vagina, using no birth control or as much as possible, you have to be prepared in the back of your mind that having sex could lead to a pregnancy and should be prepared for that. I don't really care if a woman chooses to have kids with multiple fathers or not, that's her choice. But I do have a problem with women who have children they can't afford to raise. It's just incredibly irresponsible. Why on earth would you think having kids is a good idea if you can barely afford to support yourself? Birth control, abortion, adoption are all preferable options in that situation. That isn't strictly a woman problem. There are couples that consciously try to conceive when they know they can't financially afford a child. Not to mention the people who think they have to have kids because it's what everyone in their family did, but who don't have the emotional capacity, or mental will in some cases, to do so.